On August 25, 2026, the world lost one of its brightest lights. Dolly Parton, the queen of country music, the woman who had spent over 6 decades spreading joy, kindness, and authenticity, passed away at the age of 80. But here's what nobody saw coming. She'd been fighting cancer for a year. And she never told a single soul. The news came as a devastating shock to millions of fans around the world who had been following her health struggles for months. She'd been open about some of her health issues, but she had kept the most serious one completely hidden. She had been diagnosed with cancer. And she had chosen to fight it in private, away from the cameras, away from the speculation, away from the worry of those who loved her most. It was a decision that reflected her character, her generosity, and her unwavering commitment to protecting others from pain. The news of Dolly Parton's death sent shockwaves through the entertainment world and beyond. Tributes poured in from fans, fellow musicians, and world leaders. But amidst the grief, there was also confusion. How had this happened? What had she been dealing with? And why hadn't she told anyone? The answers to these questions would reveal a woman who was even more remarkable in death than she had been in life. A woman who had spent her final months thinking not of herself, but of others. A woman who had made the conscious decision to keep her battle private so that her fans wouldn't worry. A woman who had sworn her inner circle to silence about the truth of her health fight. Dolly Parton had always been a private person when it came to her health. She had spoken publicly about her faith, her music, her businesses, but when it came to her body, she kept things close to the vest. She had her reasons. She had grown up in a family where you didn't complain. Where you didn't burden others with your problems. Where you put on a brave face and kept going, no matter what. And that's exactly what she did. The public had known she was dealing with some health issues. She had mentioned them in video messages to her fans. She had talked about kidney stones, about her immune system, about being worn down after the death of her husband. But she had never once mentioned the word that was at the center of her struggle. Cancer. The diagnosis had come at some point in the months after her husband Carl Dean's death in March 2025. She was still grieving, still processing the loss of the man she had been married to for nearly 60 years. And now she was facing a fight that she didn't want to burden anyone else with. Sources close to Parton's circle revealed that she swore her inner circle to silence over her cancer fight. Dolly was determined that her cancer would remain private and made it very clear to the people around her that she did not want details getting out. The people she trusted respected that completely. She wanted fans focusing on her work and the things that brought them happiness rather than worrying about how ill she had become, and she swore her inner circle to secrecy about the truth of her health fight. It was a decision that reflected her character. She spent her entire life giving to others. She gave her music, her time, her money, her heart. And in her final months, she gave the greatest gift of all. She gave her fans the peace of mind to remember her as she had always been, vibrant, joyful, and full of life. The diagnosis provided context for the health problems that had caused Parton to reduce some of her public appearances over the past year. In September 2025, she postponed a planned Las Vegas residency, saying she needed to undergo several medical procedures. The 6 concerts were initially scheduled for December 2025 and later moved to September 2026. She told fans at the time that she was responding really well to meds and treatments and improving every day. She said she was not ready to perform on stage because the treatments made her a little swimmy-headed, as my grandma used to say. She made a joke about not being able to carry banjos or walk in her high heels if she was dizzy. But behind the humor, there was a serious reality she was hiding. She was undergoing cancer treatment. And she was doing it without telling anyone. In May 2026, Parton cancelled her Las Vegas shows entirely, telling fans she still had some healing to do. She later missed the August 14th grand opening of a new ride at her Dollywood theme park because of her health. Instead, she participated virtually through a video message. She explained that she was feeling dizzy and dehydrated, and her doctor had told her not to travel. It was one of her last public statements. The signs were all there. The cancellations. The video messages. the vague references to health issues. But fans didn't see the full picture. They didn't know that she was battling cancer. They didn't know that the woman who had spent her entire life giving to others was now fighting for her life in private. Days before her death, Parton told People magazine that she had been dealing with health issues she had previously neglected while caring for her late husband. As I've shared in video messages throughout the past year, I am dealing with some health issues that I just didn't pay attention to when I was watching over Carl. She also reflected on previous periods of ill health, including problems she experienced during the 1980s. You know, this isn't the first time I've had to manage something like this. Back in the early 80s, I was down for several months with female issues, and I was struggling with my weight at the time too, so it's not like I haven't been through hard times with my health. She was preparing her fans for something. She was giving them context without revealing the full truth. It was a delicate dance, and she performed it with the grace and skill that had defined her entire career. On August 21, 2026, just days before her death, Parton was admitted to Vanderbilt Ingram Cancer Center in Nashville. According to reports, she was being treated for cancer-related complications. Her representatives later confirmed that she died on Tuesday morning, August 25, 2026. Her death was announced by her nephew, Brian Seaver, who had served as her head of security for more than 2 decades. Seaver said in an online clip that stunned Parton's fans, "This video announcement is something Dolly asked of me years ago, before I fully absorbed it as a future reality." He added, "It is an honor that is mixed with absolute pride and great sadness. But sadness lies with us, not with Dolly. Dolly has lived in the light and is in the arms of Jesus, surely met by Carl, her parents and countless others who have watched her and longed to meet her in the heavens." It was a fitting tribute from a man who had been by her side for decades. A tribute that reflected the faith that had guided her life. A tribute that acknowledged her suffering without diminishing her spirit. The official statement from Parton's representatives confirmed the cause of death. After bravely facing a brief battle with cancer, Dolly departed her earthly life today at the Vanderbilt Ingram Cancer Center surrounded by loved ones. The type of cancer was not disclosed. The statement was simple, dignified, and respectful of the privacy she had so fiercely guarded. It was exactly what she would have wanted. The fact that she had been diagnosed with cancer was a revelation that few had expected. Her fans had been aware of some health issues, but they had no idea she was fighting such a serious battle. It was the kind of secret that only someone with immense strength and selflessness could keep. Dolly Parton had that strength. She had always had it. It was what had carried her from poverty to stardom. It was what had sustained her through decades of hard work and heartbreak. And it was what had allowed her to face her final challenge with dignity and grace. Dolly Parton's life was a testament to the power of kindness, authenticity, and resilience. She had been born into poverty in a one-room cabin in the Smoky Mountains of Tennessee. She was the 4th of 12 children. Her father was a sharecropper and a tobacco farmer. Her mother was a homemaker. They were poor, but they were rich in love and music. Dolly began singing in church when she was a child. She started performing on local radio and television shows when she was a teenager. She moved to Nashville the day after her high school graduation. She had nothing but a dream and a guitar. But she had something else too. She had determination. She had talent. And she had a voice that could break your heart. Her career spanned 6 decades and included countless achievements. She had sold more than 100 million records worldwide. She had written over 3,000 songs. She had won numerous awards, including Grammys, Country Music Association Awards, and Academy of Country Music Awards. She had starred in movies, launched a theme park, and built a business empire that rivaled any in the entertainment industry. She had become one of the most beloved figures in American culture. But what set her apart from so many other celebrities was her authenticity. She was the same person on stage as she was off stage. She was warm, generous, and kind. She never forgot where she came from. She never stopped giving back to the community that had nurtured her. And she never, ever stopped working. In her final months, Dolly had continued to work despite her illness. She had recorded a song called My Place in History and sealed it in a box with a CD player, planning to open it on her 100th birthday in 2046. The box also contained a piece of porch from her childhood home. She joked that she didn't know if she would live to be 100, but she wanted to be prepared. The box remains at Dollywood's Dreammore Resort, and the plan is to proceed with the opening even though she won't be there. In November 2025, just a few months before her health took a serious turn, Dolly received an honorary Oscar at the Governor's Awards. She was honored with the Jean Hersholt Humanitarian Award for her decades of charitable work. Due to her health issues, she accepted the award via video message from her Nashville home. "I've been blessed more than I ever dreamed possible," she said in her message. "It's an honor just to be considered. I don't take this kind of thing lightly. It makes me want to dream up new ways to help lift people up. Isn't that what we're supposed to be here for? So from my heart to yours, I truly thank you." Dolly Parton's philanthropy was as legendary as her music. Her Imagination Library program, which she established in 1995, had gifted more than 330 million books to children around the world by the time of her death. The program was a tribute to her father, Robert Lee Parton, who had never learned to read or write. "I knew in my heart his inability to read probably kept him from seeing all his dreams come true," she said. "Inspiring kids to love to read became my mission." The program was originally set up for children in Sevier County, Tennessee, but it quickly went national and then global. It now operates in the United States, Canada, the United Kingdom, Ireland, and Australia. For many children who have never owned their own book, it is a special gift just for them. "It's the fact they get recognized," Parton once said. "They get this little book with their little name on it in the mail, and they feel special. They know that somebody out there is thinking of them." Her charitable work extended far beyond literacy. In 2020, as the COVID-19 pandemic gripped the world, Parton donated $1 million to Vanderbilt University Medical Center to help fund research into a vaccine. The donation helped fund the Moderna vaccine, which saved countless lives. She also supported wildfire victims, helped restore the bald eagle population, and funded numerous other causes. She was awarded the Carnegie Medal of Philanthropy in 2022, which honored her as one of the entertainment world's most generous philanthropists. She once said, "I'm kind of addicted to the feeling of giving. Knowing that I'm doing something good for someone else." Dolly Parton's final public appearance came just 2 months before her death. On June 24, 2026, she attended the grand opening of Dolly's Tennessean travel stop in Cornersville, Tennessee. She arrived wearing a blue dress with pink sleeves and fringe. She smiled, she joked, and she helped cut the ribbon with a pair of rhinestone-covered scissors. She also could not resist making a joke about Buc-ee's, the popular travel stop chain known for its beaver mascot. Explaining why she wanted to open a truck stop, she quipped that she couldn't leave it to beavers. The playful line felt perfectly in character for an entertainer who spent decades mixing quick humor with undeniable charm. It was a final glimpse of the energy that defined her. A final moment of joy for a woman who had spent her entire life bringing joy to others. Dolly Parton's death marked the end of an era. She had been a beloved figure in American culture for over 6 decades. She had sold more than 100 million records, written over 3,000 songs, and built a business empire that extended far beyond music. She was also a philanthropist whose charitable work had touched millions of lives. Her Imagination Library program, which she established in 1995, had gifted 332 million books to children around the world by the time of her death. The program was a tribute to her father, who had never learned to read. She knew in her heart his inability to read probably kept him from seeing all his dreams come true, she said. Inspiring kids to love to read became her mission. Her net worth at the time of her death was estimated to be around $450 million. Much of that wealth came from her stake in Dollywood, the theme park in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, that she had first invested in back in 1986. The park had become a major tourist attraction, employing thousands of people. Her estate also included the rights to thousands of songs, valued at approximately $120 million. She had always been smart about her business dealings, famously turning down Elvis Presley's manager when he demanded the publishing rights to I Will Always Love You. She went home and cried all night but refused to give up her copyright. She was survived by her extended family, including her siblings and nieces and nephews. She and her husband Carl Dean had chosen not to have children, but they helped raise several of her younger siblings. The couple had been married for nearly 60 years, and their relationship was one of the most enduring in Hollywood history. They met outside a laundromat in Nashville when she was 18. They married 2 years later in a private ceremony. Dean remained largely out of the public eye throughout their marriage, focusing on his asphalt paving business. Parton said Dean had influenced her work, including inspiring her classic song Jolene. He passed away in March 2025 at the age of 82. In his will, he left his entire estate to Dolly. In the years before her death, Dolly had been planning for her legacy. She had recorded a song called My Place in History and sealed it in a box with a CD player, planning to open it on her 100th birthday in 2046. The box also contained a piece of porch from her childhood home. She joked that she didn't know if she would live to be 100, but she wanted to be prepared. The box remains at Dollywood's Dreammore Resort, and the plan is to proceed with the opening even though she won't be there. In November 2025, just a few months before her health took a serious turn, Dolly received an honorary Oscar at the Governor's Awards. She was honored with the Jean Hersholt Humanitarian Award for her decades of charitable work. Due to her health issues, she accepted the award via video message from her Nashville home. She said she had been blessed more than she ever dreamed possible. It is an honor just to be considered. She doesn't take this kind of thing lightly. It makes her want to dream up new ways to help lift people up. Isn't that what we're supposed to be here for? So from her heart to yours, she truly thanks you. What did you think about this incredible life and legacy? Dolly Parton was more than just a singer. She was a philanthropist, a businesswoman, and an icon. Her work with the Imagination Library will continue to impact children for generations to come. Her music will continue to inspire. And her spirit will continue to live on in the hearts of millions. We want to hear your thoughts. Drop your comments below, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so you never miss another story about the legends we've lost. This is the kind of story that reminds us why we watch, why we care, and why sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is leave the world a better place than you found it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.